Prior to the formation of College Community, Ely children got their education within the city. In 1850, Banner Valley was formed as the first school in Ely. Over the next 35 years, new buildings were put up around the area and students were in and out of different schools depending on their age. In 1885, Ely Schoolhouse was formed. This was the greatest improvement that had ever been made to the Ely educational system, holding single desks, a globe, wall maps, and charts. It was a fairly small school compared to our schools today. Upstairs was for middle and high school, while the basement was for elementary. Class sizes were small, with a high school class holding only 40 kids. Riders Grove School, located just northeast of Ely, was started in the 1890s. The school was very small, with only 108 students from the time of 1897 to 1901. Comprised of students from Johnson and Lynn County, the Shueyville High School had the intent of taking students beyond 8th grade. One of the schools located within Fairfax was the Cherry Valley School. Built in the 1800s, Cherry Valley was located on the corner of 76th Avenue and Cherry Valley Road, just outside of Fairfax. Today, the building can be found in the Cedar Rapids, Usher's Ferry, Pioneer Village. The building was made of two separate schoolrooms, one as a classroom and the other for the purpose of after-school programs. The standard subjects taught were reading, writing, and arithmetic, with occasional lessons in history and geography. Eventually, art and music were also added. Different from today, students were not given any homework, considering the farm work that was expected of them at home. Another school located in Fairfax was College Township School. Eventually, when College Community ran out of space, the school was used to teach elementary. Similar to Cherry Valley School, today this building can be found at the Usher's Ferry Pioneer Village in Cedar Rapids.
We actually, when the district first opened, we had site schools at Ely, Shueyville, Swisher, and Walford. And eventually those all closed up. Walford actually had their own school system. We had one at Swisher too. Swisher had their own school system, but they eventually all closed and came into the Prairie District. I don't think there was a big difference. It was just there wasn't room here on campus, so they used those other sites to accommodate the numbers that they had until they got more buildings built.
Beginning in the 1940s, these one-room schoolhouses began to disappear throughout the entire Midwest. Following the progress of modernization, many one-room schoolhouses consolidated into larger buildings. Consolidating these one-room schoolhouses into larger buildings was considered the way forward. It offered better quality of education, more access to technology for students, and most important to the government, a better value for tax dollars. The Cedar Rapids School District gave the three townships a choice. They could all consolidate into the Cedar Rapids School District or figure it out themselves. In the spring of 1953, the townships held a vote and decided to merge into their own district, the College Community School District. In 1954, 40 acres of land in the area of the College Township was purchased across from the College Township Elementary, the same place Prairie Heights is currently located. On that 40 acres, they built a high school. Even after the start of its construction, the high school remained nameless. It was in 1955 that the then Kathleen Booth, now Kathleen Krigler, wrote an essay that would give Prairie High School its name.
And I remember her saying, with the high school being built on the prairie, and we had Prairie Creek that ran down near where I had lived at one time, and I remember ice skating in the winter down on Prairie Creek. And that was mainly what I based my essay on, was that it was just being built out in the prairie. It was not inside a city or anything.
After the construction of the College Community School District, many of the one-room schoolhouses were put out of commission. Some continued to have classes, but eventually they were all retired from their use. Despite the importance of their existence, many of these schools no longer stand. Only two schools remain standing: the St. Patrick's Catholic School in Fairfax and the Cherry Valley School, now in Usher's Ferry. These schools are reminders of a time that has come and gone, a time that is important we not